Dude, man, you're not gonna believe. What the hell are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? There are tremors out there.
But you're on the second floor. There's nothing.
Tremors. Welcome back to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris, that's Bill, and today we're talking about Tremors from, I don't know what year.
I looked it up, 1990.
1990, with Kevin Bacon and other people. This is a movie I saw a lot on cable, and I feel like it's a perfect TV movie. But Bill, what do you think of Tremors?
This is a movie I only saw really once when I was a kid, but I always remembered it because it's got a memorable premise.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's kind of a perfect monster movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say perfect TV movie because this movie got like 6 straight-to-video sequels and a TV spinoff that was short-lived.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like one of those like great like home on like a Saturday like rainy day, and then like you turn on like TV and it's like, hey, look, Tremors.
I mean, I can't necessarily disagree. That's kind of more or less how I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was like a Saturday afternoon or something like that. It may have been in the summer. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's just like an afternoon. This is a movie on. We're all watching it. It's like, oh, this is kind of crazy. There are these monsters, and they're underground, and if you walk, they can hear you and see you and find you.
Yeah. So, yeah, the premise of Tremors is just they're giant worm monsters, and they eat people. And that's literally it.
That's all you really need for a monster movie.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like about this movie is it's more about, like, the characters dealing with the situation, and, like, they never get into, like, where did the monsters come from?
They
like,
speculate, they postulate, but we're never given anything.
Yeah, it's just kind of like they're here and we have to deal with it.
Yeah, there's no, like, news report talking about mysterious meteor shower in the Nevada desert.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Or, like, there was a meltdown at the nuclear plant. Just, holy shit, what are these things?
They're weird monsters, too, because they are worms, but, like, not worms. They've got, like, weird, tiny, like, well, not really tiny, but they have, like, tentacles that come out of their mouth that they grab people and eat them with.
Yeah.
They're pretty horrifying. I guess, like, main character is Val and his friend Earl. They're two guys that kind of do odd jobs for this, like, really small, like, isolated town in, like, the Nevada desert, which is only, like, a few people in a general store, more or less. It's kind of interesting how, like, they live. They're just kind of, you know, doing their thing. Like, the one guy even says, like, you know, hey, we got, like, all this freedom, though, even though we don't really have, like, quote-unquote, like, real jobs or anything like that.
Right.
But it's interesting. So, yeah. I don't know where you want to start with this movie, Bill.
I mean, you said it there. These two guys are just doing their day-by-day routine of odd jobs, but then something's weird going on. Oh, shit. There's a dead guy in the power lines. Why is he up there? He just sat up there for days and died of thirst. Why would he do that?
Yeah. I mean, like, he was, you know, the town drunk. They even said, like, that's weird. He died of thirst. I can't see him ever being thirsty. You know, there's the one character who is, like, a geologist. She's, like, a student. She's in the desert kind of studying seismic activity. You know, she's the first one to kind of, like, realize, like, hey, you guys see anything weird going on? Because I got some, like, weird readings on, like, my seismograph and stuff. And then they're like, oh, well, look around, I guess. But the escalation of, like, where it, like, starts to, like, with the worm kind of just showing up, and then it's just, like, a full-blown survival movie after that.
Oh, yeah, like, the worms kind of slowly making their way towards the town. They're taking out people on the outskirts, like the farmer, some random construction workers.
Yeah, there's like those two people that are, like, building their house in the desert.
Yeah,
like, they call the one guy the doctor.
Yeah, he was the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene's kind of scary when like he gets killed, where he's just like pulled underground. Like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Imagine being a claustrophobic and watching a scene like that. You'd have nightmares, probably.
Yeah, you know, it's something about, like, being pulled into the ground, and that does get to me a little bit in this movie.
That, to me, is probably the most That's as intense as the movie gets, that scene.
I think the scene that is even a little more intense is when his wife is in the car and then the worms like pull the car into the sand. Like, I was like, oh no, oh no. And then they find the car and like the car is like vertically like up.
The radio, the radio's still going.
Yeah, it's like, oh man.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of like really good moments in this movie.
A lot of good setup and payoff. Like the little girl on the pogo stick, the fridge that makes the noise.
Oh,
There's a lot of little things that like come into play later when, shut up! There's monsters below us!
Yeah. I like to, like, the first worm they kind of like encounter where like part of its tentacle gets like caught up in the wheel when they're kind of escaping from, not really escaping, but they're kind of on the highway, and then
they don't realize they're escaping.
Yeah,
they
the
think
worm
they're just
caused
stuck.
like an avalanche or whatever, so they can't get to like the next town over because the road is blocked now. And they bring like, you know, the piece of the worm to the general store, and the guy that owns it was just like, I'll give you $5 for that worm. And he like uses it as a tourist trap to like the two kids like take pictures with it and stuff. There's like a lot of details with the worms, like, you know, they smell like super bad apparently.
Yeah.
Like, they are gross looking creatures too.
They clearly have very thick like heads for burrowing.
Yeah. They have all little like spines on them for, you know, traveling through the sand and stuff. I'm trying to think, like, some of the moments I really like this movie, and it's where, like, you know, Kevin Bacon is in it. He's like a pretty well-known actor, but, you know, I can't remember too many of his like memorable lines in this movie, but like it's mainly like the situations in this movie I like how they get trapped by the worms and they're on top of the rocks, and then they have to like pole vault from like rock to rock to get to like their truck.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. The scene where they're running away from the worm and then they jump into, I don't know, like some sort of duct or sewer, and the worm like smashes into like the wall. It's the first time we get to see like the full scale of the worm and everything.
Yeah. And we also see right away, oh, they're not indestructible. They can be killed, because that thing just rams head first into that and just dies.
Yeah. Not only that, but like it dies, but when any of these worms die, it's pretty gruesome. Like they're all like blood and goo and all this stuff. It's like really nasty. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh, they're so gross.
Yeah, one thing I do like is they do kind of take the Jaws approach, where it's like, you don't see him at first. First things are just moving. Then it's just the tendrils. And then, holy crap!
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's a lot of like characters in the small town. Like, you know, we got the general store owner. We've got like the annoying kid that has the ultimate annoying kid name, Melvin.
I really thought he was going to get eaten.
Me too, but at the same
I thought he was dead that one moment with the basketball.
Yeah, but like, I'm like, there's not too many movies that will like blatantly kill children.
Yeah, but he's just old enough where you could say, he's like 19, he's dead, fuck him. Like, I knew they weren't going to kill the little girl.
No.
Not in this kind of movie. This movie's too, like, yeah, people die, but it's not a gruesome horror movie.
No. Like, yeah, he's pretty annoying. You know, there's the couple that's, you know, kind of like...
They're survivalists.
Yeah, they're like doomsday preppers or whatever. You know,
because like the Cold War was kind of still happening at this point, even though it was kind of winding down by then.
Yeah, it was 1990, so I guess Berlin Wall just came down.
It's an excuse to have someone who's just like heavily armed to a ridiculous degree.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, that guy, he's in all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That guy keeps coming back, and I think there's like one that's like a prequel, and it's like his ancestor. Because there's like one of them, there's one of these movies that's like set in the Old West.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know too much about like the lore of Tremors, but I'm sure there's a lot of it, since there are like 6 or 7 movies.
7.
Okay, there's like, I know there's like comics of Tremors, there was the TV show.
It only lasted 1 season, I think, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if I remember seeing promos with like running ones. There's probably a flying one.
Okay.
I mean, once you get to movie 7, there's bound to be a flying one, right?
Yeah, you know, it's weird because, you know, I always think of this movie as like just this one movie. It's like a cool monster movie. But like, I guess in some ways they tried to turn like Tremors into something like Godzilla, where there's like a bunch of like Tremors movies, and it's this like iconic movie monster that everybody knows.
It never really quite got to that.
Yeah.
Because they're all straight to video. I think most people, they've probably only seen the first one.
Yeah,
I'm definitely in that category.
me too. Like, I'm aware of like the sequel.
Yeah, so am I. Hell, one of them was only a couple years ago.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where like, I knew there was like a sequel to this movie, but then like you find out like, wait, there were like 6 sequels to this movie. It's like, how did that happen?
They just kept making them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's kind of like that movie Dragonheart. Where
Yeah.
It's like, wait, there's more than one Dragonheart?
And Scorpion King.
Yeah, that too.
They just kept making them? Why?
It's weird.
You lost the one star that people knew after the first one.
Yeah.
It's even crazy because after I watched it, I was kind of just skimming like the Wikipedia articles, just like seeing how many characters actually came back for follow-ups, and it's a surprising number of them because the survivalist guy, he's the one that shows up in all of them, but
Okay.
like the second movie is more about the other guy, the Kevin Bacon's friend.
Okay.
He's like the main character.
Okay.
And he brings back survivalist guy, but then like a couple of the other characters pop up, like the little girl, her mom, the Hispanic guy that also survives. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It just felt like I'm like, all right. I didn't realize we'd reached the point like, oh, all these guys survived. I'm like, that's kind of nice. I'm like, I don't want to see people get maimed. I'm like, oh, I thought some more of these people were going to be cannon fodder, but oh well.
General store owner. That one was.
I
was like, oh man, I like him.
I mean, I knew because I remember that when I was a
Yeah.
kid because I had seen the Three Ninjas movies and he was the grandpa in that, and I was like, hey, it's the grandpa from Three Ninjas. Oh my god!
So that's how he died. Oh, yeah. That one's rough.
Oh man, that's pretty brutal.
But yeah, there's a lot of good like special effects, like kind of how they like, do like I don't know what it's called, but like that like making the sand like kind of liquefy to like suck structures into it and stuff. It's pretty good.
It's something just like the shots where like they're moving through the sand look really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how'd they do that?
Yeah.
This is 1990.
Even the shot when they're on like the roof of the general store and like the whole roof like shifts.
Oh yeah, a lot
It was
of
like, wow, like that was crazy. Yeah, there's so many like good things about this movie, but it is just like a pure monster movie, honestly.
100%. It's like a throwback.
Yeah,
It's
like no information really about the monster.
none really needed.
Yeah, and
We know as much as they do. We get the idea of what they are, what they can do, and how we can try to defeat them. We don't. I guess we don't really need to know where they came from.
Yeah.
Maybe they just exist.
yeah, definitely. Some of like the more like fun aspects of the movie, it's like the Doomsday Prepper characters when they get attacked by the worm and they're in their like Doomsday prepping basement making a bunch of vibrations, and all the characters are like warning them, and then the worm kind of busts in and they just have like the wall of guns behind them.
They take out a freaking elephant rifle.
Yeah, like huge like shotgun or rifle, and they just like kill one of them, but there's like 2 more still.
Yeah.
Like there's
Because
like
the geologist student girl, she's able to, through the readings, determine that there was 4 of them. We get the one that killed itself by running head first.
yeah.
They shot and killed one, but then the last 2 they have to figure out how to get away from them or defeat them or whatever.
Yeah, what's interesting too is like they're kind of smart too.
Yeah, they're getting kind of crafty towards the end. They're just like digging around the foundations and pushing into shit. They knocked that poor bastard off his trailer.
Yeah. Like they can't see, they can't smell. Like all they can do is like feel vibrations. And that's kind of like they use that to their advantage for the worms, but like the worms they're very smart. Like you said, it makes them like more scary where it's just like they're adapting. They're like learning like
They were only able to use their dynamite trick once.
oh my god, that dynamite trick too, where it eats the dynamite and it literally explodes. explodes. And I was like, holy crap.
And just goo all over the place.
I'm just like, wow.
But then the other one just spits it out.
Yeah.
And then it lands near all the other pipe bombs.
That's kind of like a callback to like earlier where like it like eats the pogo stick and spits it out.
It's like, that's not food.
Yeah. And like when it spits something out too, like it just goes flying in.
Set up payoff, man.
Yeah.
This movie's very clever with that. It's a very well written, well structured movie.
I do like the one line with the Doomsday Prepper where he makes like all like the pipe bombs and it's just like what'd you make him out of? And he's just like common household items. It's like you can't tell people how to make bombs in movies.
No, you really shouldn't.
Yeah, but I just like where it's just like common household items. Pretty funny. But yeah, like they're trying to escape to like the mountains because the worms, they can't burrow through like the rock, and they end up like driving around like an old like, I don't know, it's like a construction vehicle.
It's like a bulldozer.
Yeah, more or less. Like it's really old too. Like,
hey, it's rusted as fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, honestly.
I honestly was like, I thought they were gonna run out of gas.
Yeah, me too. I mean, realistically, they probably would have with something like that.
Oh yeah.
The finale of the movie where, Kevin Bacon kind of tricks the worm into, like, chasing him.
He stampedes it.
Yeah.
Scares it with the dynamite and gets it to launch itself off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's so great. That's great.
It's pretty good, too, because, like, it's like the worm goes off the cliff and you're, like, thinking, like, oh, it might survive, but then it just, like, blows apart. Like, definitely not afraid to have like worm guts and worm juices and violence like that in this movie.
I like that the challenge is not that they're impossible to kill, it's that any attempt we make to do anything, they're just on us.
Yeah.
Because of their attraction to vibrations and stuff. It's a challenge that they have to figure out how to overcome, and it's kind of cool watching them figure it out. Like, oh, we'll send the lawnmower or whatever the fuck that was in that direction. They'll go after that. It'll be a decoy, and they'll just stop moving, and then they can't find it. Kevin Bacon's like lifting his leg up and avoiding the tendril while everyone starts screaming on the rooftop, "Hey, over here, you stupid motherfucker, over here!"
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It can be a little tense, this movie, with that stuff.
Oh yeah, I was really into it by the end.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh shit, how's this work? And I can't, because I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Like I saw this movie once, and it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I've seen it probably a few times, but like I saw it mostly when I was young, so it's hard to recall stuff in it. But I do feel like this is like a classic, TV movie I watched a lot.
Like I remember them being on the roof. I remember the grandpa from Three Ninjas getting eaten.
Yeah, I when I saw that guy, I was like, "Is that?" And I looked it up, and I'm like, "It is." Because I was like, that guy looks so familiar.
He didn't have any of his Big Trouble Little China powers to save him.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's also Egg Shin. I was like, okay.
I guess you forgot when we talked about that movie, I mentioned him getting eaten by one of these damn things, which are, their official name is Graboid.
Oh, okay.
They coined the name in this, and that's, I guess technically that's their official name in the series. They're Graboids.
Okay. I'm sure there's a lot of different tremor worm monsters in the lore, like you mentioned.
Well, these just weird variations or subspecies or whatever. Yeah. I just know, just from seeing commercials, that there's ones that run on land, like above ground.
Okay, weird.
And as I said, there has to be one that flies, right? Once you get to movie 7, something's sprouting wings, right?
Yeah, I mean that kind of like defeats like the purpose of
the
Tremors.
But once you make like 5 and 6 of these, you don't care at that point. You're just saying, fuck it, let's go crazy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just guessing. If I'm right, I'm putting a clip right here.
They can fly now, so get off the roof. You're not safe up there anymore, copy?
Like I can see ones that are like more like swarms where there's like a bunch of little ones.
Oh, I'm sure
stuff like that.
Maybe they did that too. Yeah. I mean, like I said,
there's a lot of these.
7. There's 7 Tremor movies.
It's insane.
One of them came out in 2020.
Wow, man, So weird.
I know, it's crazy.
So, some things just keep going quietly for some reason.
Like, yeah, like Tremors, bad American Pie spin-offs.
Oh yeah.
It's just things that
A
just
lot of those.
keep going. You're like, wait, they made another Bring It On, but this time it's a slasher movie? Okay.
That's weird.
I mean, there's like 4 or 5 of them, too.
Yeah. I don't know. This movie, the ending is like kind of like, Kevin Bacon kind of, kisses the scientist lady at the end because he kind of has like a hang up where he only wants to like date a particularly looking type of girl that he says at the beginning of the movie, but then like his friend's kind of like, she's good, you should date her. And then he does like sort of at the end, but...
Well, based on what I read on Wikipedia, they get together.
Okay.
And a later movie, their daughter's in it.
Okay.
So they worked out for them, I guess.
Cool.
I know that they almost made a newer TV series with Kevin Bacon coming back,
Oh, wow.
but I don't think it went past pilot.
Okay.
Which I'm surprised because they had Kevin Bacon back on board.
Yeah, seriously.
You tell me a streamer didn't want that or anything in this day and age?
Yeah, it's all about IP.
Yeah, and familiar actors returning to roles they haven't played in 25 years.
Yeah.
I guess Tremors was too played out.
To be fair, Kevin Bacon still looks pretty good, though. So...
I mean, they could still circle back and try again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about this movie besides, like, it's a great monster movie.
Yeah, if you want to watch a cool, fun, well-done monster movie, Tremors, it's good.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a unique premise. It's
like a very, I don't know, it feels like a very old type of movie that you don't really see too often now because it's like...
It's all practical effects.
Yeah, it's practical. Like, the stakes are, like,
It's
kind of, like, localized. It's not really, like, a lot of people involved in this, like, extraordinary incident of this monster.
No.
It's only, like, few people.
But you get enough of these people that you kind of like, oh, I don't want to see anything happen to him.
Yeah.
Except that stupid teenager. I want him to die.
You stupid Melvin.
He doesn't die. And I was a little like, oh, man.
Yeah. He, like, fakes him out, too, a couple times, where it's just like...
I really thought he was that he was boy cried wolfing himself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too,
And he almost did. He really got this close to dying.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to die.
But they didn't kill him.
They really didn't. I'm literally shocked.
I wonder if he shows up in one of the other Tremors movies and then dies.
I don't know if he dies, but he apparently does show up.
Wow, okay.
Like I said, like almost everybody shows up except Kevin Bacon.
That's crazy.
Everybody came back at least once, I think.
Yeah.
Except Kevin Bacon and the survivalist guy's wife.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know her
It's
name.
Reba McEntire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I guess she was like, I have a sitcom. I'm too good for this. I have my own self-titled sitcom. I don't need Tremors money.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, Tremors, it's a good movie. If you've never seen it, go watch it. If you really like it, there's plenty more. There's plenty more Tremors, apparently.
I don't know if any of them are worth watching.
I don't really know.
Maybe I'll check out Tremors 2.
As far as I know, before we sign off, this was the only Tremors movie in theaters, right?
As far as I know, yes.
Like, Tremors 2 was...
Straight to video.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess it did well enough where, like, a low-budget straight-to-video sequel.
yeah.
But not well enough to warrant a
Theatrical
release, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess those straight-to-video sequels did well enough that Universal was like, crank them out!
Yeah, just keep making them.
We'll make as many of these as we make Land Before Time movies, and that we'll make so many of them for so long. People will like, wait a minute, they made that in like 4 or 5 years ago. What?
Then we'll have the Tremors show up in the Land Before Time to see how the Tremors evolved into what they are now.
Now, they should make that.
Be a cartoon, it would be great. I don't know if they ever go into the lore of Tremors and how they like formed or whatever.
You would assume that it would delve into it a little bit, right?
Maybe.
After 7 movies, you gotta talk about
Yeah.
something, right?
Who knows? Maybe they're prehistoric creatures. Maybe they're creatures made by science.
I don't know.
Like, they could I was thinking to myself, like, okay, it's like Nevada. You think of like, okay, like
Nuclear testing.
yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. So it's just like, okay, maybe they're a result of nuclear testing. It's kind of
I think they posit that in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it ultimately doesn't matter, but I mean, one of those movies probably gets into it.
Yeah.
Or they don't. Who the fuck knows? Maybe they want to leave it a mystery.
Yeah. It's just fine, Nuclear testing kind of connects it more to like Godzilla in my mind, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
I almost want to watch the second one because it's got one of the main leads still in it. And I also almost want to check out the one that's set in the Old West because it's like how I want to see with the Predator movies. What if this, but in the past?
Yeah.
It's like, what if Tremors, but cowboys?
They better shoot one with a cannonball in that movie.
You would hope, right?
Yeah.
Maybe hit one with a train.
Yeah. Would be pretty good. Cannonball. Some old school dynamite. Like, the red ones.
Yes.
The ones that say TNT on it.
And a plunger.
Yeah. But who knows? Tremors is a fun movie, and people should go watch it. And I guess that's the Out of Touch podcast for this week. Good night, everybody.